All right, we are united through vision, and I'm Michael Armstrong, and
I'm Tiffany Armstrong.
my lovely wife. And today we have the honor of having Steve Gallegos with us. And Steve is a life coach, author, an amazing person with some incredible things to share with us today. So thank you, Steve, for coming on and hanging out with us.
You know, on a Friday afternoon, nothing would appease me more than to appear on your show and bring value to you guys and to your audience and just share with the world how awesome you guys are.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. So could you tell us a little bit about your book?
Which book? The one I'm reading now or the one I wrote?
I
tell a lot of jokes.
That's good.
Yeah. I think you're talking about my latest book, How to Live Remarkably, Proven Strategies to Solve Your Problems, Make Better Decisions, and Eliminate Stress. And we've had fantastic success with that book. And it came about the whole idea of living remarkably. I wanted to take a different approach to this whole concept of success and what success is and what makes us successful or not, etc. Because I think that success is a misused and overused term in our society, and it causes a lot of problems. As a matter of fact, I hold Thomas Jefferson, one of the founders of our beautiful nation, responsible for many of the problems that we have in society right now. Do you want to know why?
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 Because in the Declaration of Independence, he said that we have inalienable rights, correct?
Yes.
He said that we have the inalienable right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we've all grown up with that. We've all been trained that. We've all been programmed with that. We have to pursue happiness. So let me ask you, if you have to pursue anything, what does that mean? At its very basic foundational level, if you've got to pursue something, that means what?
You're chasing for it. You're trying to get it.
Working really hard. You'll do anything.
And what does that mean? It means that you don't have it.
Yeah.
It means that you don't have it, right? And so we've been programmed forever that we don't have happiness. And it's something that we got to go out and look for and seek and chase. And I think that that causes a lot of problems. And we know it in society today as chasing success. You guys grew up, I know I grew up in saying, oh, you got to grow up and be successful. What do you want to be? I just want to be successful, right? In other words, we're telling ourselves over and over, we are not successful. And so we want to be successful, right? And so we spend all our lives, our childhoods, our young adulthood, and even our adulthoods chasing this thing called success, but we can never find it. Why? A couple of reasons. Number one is that there is no standard, right? Michael, you have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. How high is it from the ground level to the summit?
It starts at about 5,500 feet, and the summit is 19,360. So
okay,
about 15,000 miles.
All right. So if somebody wants to climb Kilimanjaro, there's a standard. We know you got to start at about 5,500, 6,000 feet and go up to all the way to the top. It's measurable, right? If you only make it halfway, you only make it halfway. If you make it to the summit, we know how far you've gone. So there's a standard. So when someone says, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, we know how far he or she climbed, correct?
Correct.
If I say to you, if I ask you guys, what success is to you, you're going to give me an answer today that was different from yesterday, that was different before you were married, that was different when you were both single, before you even met, that was different from your college days, that was different from your high school days, that was different from your 5-year-old days, right?
Yeah.
True.
And so success is this constantly evolving and changing thing out there, carrot, if you will, and is different for both of us. You and I will not agree on what success is for each other. And then the other challenge with success, guys, is that the only way to measure it is how do we measure it? I have to look at Michael and Tiffany and say, gosh, Alicia, Mike and Tiffany just bought a 5,000 square foot home with a pool and 3-car garage and basketball court and a mini golf course out back. And they have a ranch for their horses. And, Mike's got a garage for his 6 motorcycles and 4 cars that he's, working on restoring. And yet we live in this 3,500 square foot home. And yeah, we got a pool, but we don't have what they have. And so now I have to look at you guys and see what you guys are doing, or I have to look at my neighbor across the street in order to say, am I successful or not? And this is why you find so many people that you and I can see objectively, wow, that guy or gal has achieved so much in their life. They've got these degrees. They went to the best schools. They live in the best neighborhoods. They drive the best cars. But yet at the end of the day, those people feel so unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're always looking across the street at the neighbor and saying, oh, the neighbor's got a new this. The neighbor's got a new that. How come we don't have a new this? How come we don't have a new that? And that's how society teaches us to measure success. And so I wanted to debunk that whole process and get us back to the real root of who we really are and what life is all about. And that I say to live remarkably. What does that mean? Well, you guys like flowers, right?
I love flowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you love flowers. Perhaps you have a garden, whatever the case may be. You have plants in the house. If we look at, when was the last time you went to an arboretum or a beautiful community garden or
It was
somewhere?
about 3-4 months ago. Just
Okay,
right-
3-4 months.
Yeah.
Did you guys go into that garden and say, the roses smell really good, but those over here don't smell at all. And so therefore those must be ugly, terrible flowers. I don't even know why they even have them here because they have no aroma.
No, I said they have no aroma. I'm going to touch them, even though I'm not supposed to.
Exactly. So we don't go into a garden or a arboretum or any kind of a flower display and say, ooh, those flowers are really cool, but these here are ugly. I really don't know. We look at them all with awe and with splendor, right? They may be different colors, different shapes. Some are not as perfectly formed. Some are taller, some are shorter. But we look at all of them because we can appreciate them all, right?
Yeah.
And we also know that flowers or trees or whatever you plant in the soil started out as this little micro seed that's buried to what the seed believes is mountains and mountains of earth, right? To us, it's 3 or 4 inches, right? But to the seed, it doesn't know 3 or 4 inches. To the seed, it's like, help, I'm stuck here underground, under miles and miles of earth. I've got to wait for water. I've got to wait for sun. I've got to wait to grow. I break the seed open. Now I start sprouting through the earth, and I got to fight my way through organisms and chemicals and other insects and stuff trying to get to the surface. Then I break through the surface, right? And I look around and I go, whoa, this is really cool. Now I got to fight for sunshine, for water, for more nutrients. I got to stave off the animals. I got to stave off the insects, and I got to stave off humans with big feet and lawnmowers and weed eaters, that I don't get killed before I one day blossom into this sunflower or rose or daffodil or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each of us is like that flower. Each of us started as a seed, and we grow up, and we have to struggle through our childhoods in order to become adults and one day blossom into these amazing human beings who can bring forth wonderful ideas and thoughts and projects and conversation and do just such wonderful things in the earth on this planet while we're here, right? And so with that view, with that frame of mind, with that new reframe of where we've all come from, I can look at Mike and Tiffany and say, it doesn't matter that you guys don't have a law degree like I do. It doesn't matter that you guys haven't written 3 books like I have. It doesn't matter that you guys aren't international renowned, stage presenters or anything like that. I don't have to measure myself against you guys like that. I can stand in awe and admire you guys for the struggles that you've had to overcome, the obstacles that you've had to overcome in order to sit here today, to have your own show, to interview some of the first-class people around the world, knowing that you guys have achieved some amazing things, but yet we can stand in honor and admiration of each other simply for who we are and what it has taken us to be here still today, because there's a lot of people that didn't make it to wake up this morning, right? For whatever reason. Some were taken purposely, some were taken by accident, whatever happened. Some people are gone, and that's just a fact of life. But here we are, we still remain, we're still standing, which means that we've got a lot of work to do, and we've got just, so many more people to serve with the different ways that we serve. So long story short, that is the whole idea behind the book, the idea of living remarkably. And like I said, I want to do away with this concept that we have to chase success.
Wow, Steve, that is so touching. Thank you for sharing. I'm so curious. That was so beautiful and organic. How did you come across this method of thinking or way of thinking? Obviously it's something you do. We know you quite well, and your wife as well. So how did you adopt this, or how did you come about this method of thinking?
It was a constant evolution. There was a time in my life when I was 17 years old that I had no concept of these ideas that I'm sharing with you today. In fact, at that time, I was trying to end my life by committing suicide. I remember coming home from school frequently, sitting on the edge of my bed, wrapping a plastic dry cleaner bag around my head, holding it around my throat, trying to count down to see how long it would take me to asphyxiate. But there was always that, not a voice necessarily, but there was always that feeling inside, but no, don't do this. There's something more. There's something better for you. And a girlfriend in high school at the time, my high school girlfriend gave me a book. She knew I was struggling. She didn't know how to help, but she gave me a book by Norman Vincent Peale. And the title of that book is The Power of Positive Thinking. I didn't understand any of those concepts. I don't even remember if I read the whole book. I doubt it, because it was pretty lengthy book, and it wasn't written in my language, but there were 7 words in it that captured me at the time. And those words were: change your thoughts and change your world. Change your thoughts and change your world. So those 7 words impacted me. Now, not in the way that you might think, because I didn't know that you could change your thoughts. I didn't know what that looked like. It didn't make any sense to me. Change your thoughts? How do you do that? Is it even possible? But I knew the second part, change your world, because I had run away from home several times before in my younger teens, right? I had run away from home. So to me, physically changing my world, right? Taking myself from one scenario into a different scenario, where I didn't have the stresses or the programming or the people, telling me that I was worthless and no good, the ones that led me to the desire to take my life. They weren't there when I ran away from home. That's why I ran away from home, right? Running away from those troubles. So I did that. And then at 17 years old, I decided to take my life by taking it away from my parents and the adults whose influence I was under. And I joined the United States Marine Corps. Ooh. And a lot of people would say that's like jumping from the frying pan into the fire, right? because you're going from a really bad situation into a truly bad situation, right? Marine Corps boot camp, right? 13 weeks in Parris Island, South Carolina, in the heat of summer. And it was during those 13 weeks that I was really born, I say. Those were my formational years as a young adult, because I learned that I was somebody. I learned that I had talents and skills and abilities, and that I was worth something. And so the main lesson that I learned, we don't have time to go into that story, but I learned that if I help others achieve their dreams, I will always get what I want. And so that was my first life lesson learned in the Marine Corps. And then I also learned that I could change the story of my life anytime I wanted, that I didn't have to be the victim. Sometimes I was the victim. Sometimes I'm the actor in someone else's story. But I learned that I could also be the writer, director, and producer of my own story. And as such, just like you guys are the writers and producers of this beautiful TV program that you have, you get to choose who you interview, right? You don't have to interview anybody or just everybody. You get to choose who comes on your show. You get to choose who you present to your audience. And so life is like that for all of us. We get to choose who we surround ourselves with. We get to choose who we work with. We get to choose who we vacation with. And sometimes we feel like we have no choice, but that's the wrong way of looking at it. The truth is we absolutely do. And so circling back to your question, Tiffany, where did I learn to think like this? It was just years and years of studying, reading people like Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, who are some of my mentors, Marianne Williamson, and the list goes on, Deepak Chopra, the list goes on. And as you gather all of this information, and none of it is new, this is age-old information that preceded our lives and our previous lives, our parents' lives, etc. But it's just, it gets you to start thinking, well, if this is possible, then what if this is possible? And then some people, I looked at all of the trainers and coaches and quote unquote gurus who promote this idea of success and chasing success. And then I said, well, if these concepts are true, that this is how you gain happiness and fulfillment in life, why are so many people that have achieved, right, objectively, these levels of success are so dissatisfied and wanting to kill themselves, especially in the Hollywood industry, which I was a part of for a long, long time, wanting to pursue a career to become the next Julio Iglesias. I was an entertainment lawyer. I had a record company and those kinds of things. I would do concerts, lots and lots of concerts, writing and performing my own music. And especially in the entertainment industry, you see these celebrities with beautiful homes and cars and lifestyles and being on stage and being recognized and followed and admired and photographed and all this stuff. But they are some of the most frail people on the planet, because if they don't have a script, if they don't have a TV show or film or new movie coming out or something, they feel worthless. And so a lot of them turn to drugs and alcohol and doing other things, and they take their lives. Why? Because no one's paying attention to them, right? But they've been sold the wrong dream. They've been sold the wrong ideal of that dream. They've been sold the wrong picture of what that looks like. And that's what I'm here to help people identify for themselves, is what does happiness and success and a joyful, truly fulfilled life really look like? And that's my mission on this planet.
That's beautiful, and thank you. You know, the other day when I was talking to you on the phone, I was really just in awe and stunned at your wisdom of how you took your life from, like you said, as a teenager, and then decided the military was the way to go. And we had a couple chuckles about that because of getting, stationed in Hawaii and all that. It's like not the worst gig in the world, right? And then going into the legal system, and how, you're at this high profile legal career working with celebrities and stuff, and you just didn't like it because it wasn't really connecting with your heart. And then stepping away from that takes such a huge commitment to yourself and others. So, it's just amazing to me to see you and what you've done from like A to Z and where you're at now, and the wisdom that you're sharing and giving to the world is it's beautiful. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
So where are you going from here? I mean, if everything was perfect in your world, where would you see yourself going in the next year or two?
Let's clarify, Michael. Nothing is perfect even in my world, nor do I nor do I want it to be.
Thanks, Coach.
Nor do I want it to be. And you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. So you want to know why? Well, just think about it. Again, going back to this idea of, success and those kinds of things. A lot of people talk about, I'm striving towards my potential. And when I reach my potential, and teachers, especially, I don't know about you as a sensei, if you've ever, tell your students, in order to reach your maximum potential as a, 5th Dan black belt, etc., you need to do this, 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 and the other. We don't want to reach our potential. You know why?
Because you're done.
What's left? Exactly. What's left?
That's it.
If you reach your potential, that's it. There's nowhere to go but in a 6-foot casket, right? That's it. You're done. So we don't really want to reach our potential. We don't want to achieve perfection in any area of our lives because that means we're done. And if you do reach perfection, no one can relate to you. Right? So you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose your family. You're going to lose everybody that says, oh, you're perfect now, right? You've achieved everything in every sphere, in your relationship, in your business, in your finances, in your health, in your spirituality, in your walk with God, or whatever you choose to have that as your journey. You've reached the pinnacle of every single element that Tony Robbins and everybody talks about, the 7 key areas of life, etc. No, you don't want to reach perfection or your potential because that means you're done. What we do always want to do is we always want to get better. We always want to grow. And so I suggest instead, don't strive to reach your potential. Work instead to live towards your capacity today, because once you do that, that capacity expands. It's like a rubber band or a vessel that just, like a water balloon that just keeps filling up, right? And keeps expanding. That's your capacity. Do what you can do. Do as much as you can do. Do the very best that you can do today. And if that's all, tomorrow will be better, because it's like a muscle. Sensei, you know this. You start doing, you can't do 1 finger push-ups the first day in the dojo. Right? Not many people can, right? So without prior training, a lot of training. So you start doing maybe knee push-ups, right? Or what we call the girl push-ups, the girl push-ups, right? With your knees on the ground, etc. And then you do a plank push-up, and then, full hands. And then you do maybe knuckle push-ups. And then maybe, you start jumping and clapping in the middle as you do your push-ups. And maybe you one-handed push-ups. And then eventually you can do the 1 finger push-ups like Bruce Lee was so famous. 1 finger, 1 arm, all the way down to the ground and back up, right?
Yeah.
So, but you do that by performing to your capacity each and every day. And as you do that, you get better, you get stronger, more capable, more equipped. And that's how you get to become better, until one day, you know what? You're never going to reach your potential. I don't want to do that. So going back to your question, in a perfect world, or what does it look like for me if I'm achieving everything that I want to achieve and having everything my way, I think is what your question, Michael. I'm on a mission currently to serve the world and to have an impact on the world, the equivalent of someone like Tony Robbins is having on the world, right? We're not talking about competitive style at all, but he's had such a great impact on the world because for the last 40, 45 years, he has pioneered this whole idea of personal development and self-growth and achievement through your mental processes. And then, having the other processes in play, because it's not all just mental. You've got to have actual business plans and strategy and those kinds of things in order to achieve, whether we're talking martial arts, climbing Kilimanjaro, swimming with sharks, whatever the case may be. And so that's what I want to do. And I want to serve primarily in the Spanish world, Spanish market, Spanish language, because we do not have yet a Tony Robbins Martinez. And so, right. So I know that we have a lot of leadership, a lot of influencers in the Spanish language community, but no one as strong as like Tony Robbins is in the English language world. And I would like to serve in that capacity. I would like to be that because I speak fluent Spanish and I love my heritage. I was born in Chile, and growing up here in the United States, I've been trained by the very best and the best of business. And so I want to take these skills and this wisdom that I have developed and share it with the Spanish speaking world, because there's so much talent there. There's such a hardworking people, and not to exclude anybody else. I'm not saying that the Asians aren't, or that the African Americans aren't, or, that the English aren't, or that the Australians aren't as capable or as deserving to have it all open to them. But it's just that my heart is with the, Spanish speaking community right now. So that's my mission. I want to continue being an amazing husband to my wife, Alethea, and, just getting better and better at that every single day. And so, and some pizza, some good wine, grilled cheese sandwich every now and then. And I'm happy.
I love it.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So what kind of challenges do you find, like with doing what you're doing?
The primary challenge, me personally is marketing, obviously, in terms of getting my name out there and becoming a recognized name, because I know what I know. I do what I do. I have developed an expertise as a communicator, as a trainer, as a coach. But I haven't developed an expertise as a marketer. And so you talk to, for example, like you are a a martial arts expert. That's what you do. That's what you know, right? And
Exactly.
Tiffany's a chef, right? And so that's what you do. And then so when someone says, "Okay, chef, now you got to go out there and display your marketing skills out there in the world," you're like, where do I start, right? I didn't go,
Right.
I didn't go to Cordon Bleu to become a marketer. I went there to study chef stuff. And now
Yeah.
because of the internet, everything's right at our fingertips, and we are told as experts and business owners, you've now got to put a different hat on and go and become a marketer, right? And learn how to do that. And we need to, in one sense, because if we hire someone to do that, just like a chef, if we hire a sous chef, we need to know what that sous chef is supposed to do, right? Or we need to know what our assistant martial arts instructor knows what to do. And so we can't unless we have those skills, right? And so in order for us to be effective guiding and hiring someone with those skills, we have to have at least a basic knowledge about it, at least the nomenclature, the processes, and those kinds of things, to know that we're not being taken advantage, or at least to provide direction saying, no, 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 no. I don't want to be on TikTok. I don't want to be on Snapchat. I don't want to be on whatever channel. These are the channels I want to do. This is the type of advertising, marketing, et cetera, that I want to do. But I find that a challenge because it takes so much time, and everybody has a different opinion as to what the best way to reach your audience. Some say, ooh, Stevie, gee, you got to be content marketing. No, you got to do Facebook ads. No, you got to do Instagram ads. No, you got to do TikTok videos. No, you got to build a YouTube. There's just so much stuff. You got to be an affiliate. You got to create courses. You got to, no. I just want to do what I want to do, right? I just want to do what I know and love, is to be on stage and help people and help them solve their problems. That's what I want to do. I don't want to become a marketer. One of the ways I've found to solve that problem is I've had the recent fortune of becoming a master coach with an organization called Be Connected, which is a new platform where professionals from all over the world are allowed to come in, by invitation only, to participate and connect with each other, make business deals, and they have an educational platform as well, which I get to serve on. And so I'm developing content in English and Spanish for that organization, and I absolutely love it, because now that accelerates my ability to make new connections with folks and my ability to be seen and heard by what will ultimately be millions of business professionals around the world. So that's my biggest challenge right now. But I think I've solved it.
Tiffany and I are both excited to get on Be Connected and definitely promote it any way we can. As we grow with our show, we're definitely going to have you and your information all right there, and your show will always be up. So please feel free to share this however you want to as well, because your story is fascinating.
Yes.
And who you are as a person is just truly inspirational. It really is. And that's one of the reasons when we got a chance to get you on the show, Tiffany and I were both just really just excited,
Yeah, thank you. And you guys aren't anything to sneeze at, right? Tiffany's a chef. I mean, you have a vision. Is it proper to say vision impaired? Is that acceptable to?
We call you guys site dependent, so you can call us impaired.
That's right. I love it, honey. They call it site dependent.
or light dependent. One of the two.
I absolutely love it. I love it. No, but I know that, my brother's a quadriplegic, and as a result of a rollover accident years ago, and through that experience, learning about it, and also as a lawyer, I practiced some cases involving the ADA, discrimination and violations of federal law, and we went after some apartment buildings and those kinds of things for discriminating and violating my client's rights, who was a Hollywood director at the time, and so I know that the nomenclature has changed, right? People don't like to be called disabled; they like to be called, whatever.
Yeah, no, and I'd like to answer that question actually, like, truthfully from my heart. So 3 years ago, right, we talk about evolution. 3 years ago, I would have said I'm blind. But now that I understand how much vibration is in language and how we speak things over ourselves constantly, and it's not a secret to the world. We've had Nate Selesnik on. Mike and I are the first to do Vibra Vision here in the U.S. To really give blind and visually impaired people, new tools in their toolbox. So honestly, I see colors every once in a while. I see the corners of, like right now when I look over there, I see the corners of the wall. Sometimes I see through the wall and I see studs in the wall, and I go up and I knock on the wall and I confirm it. So I'm developing a new technology in my mind that does not make me associate with the word blind anymore, because that actually is not integrous. I know that if I walked in a room with another blind person, me having the skills of Vibra Vision and them not having the skill, I definitely have the advantage of navigating that room over the person who doesn't have the skills that I have. So for me personally, and I think it's different for most people, I prefer visually impaired, honestly, because I don't feel blind. But 3 years ago, that answer would have been way different. So thank you for giving me that access point. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'd say my eyes are totally blind because I don't have eyes. I have prosthetics. But I tell people I have lots of vision, and
Sure.
that's in multiple ways. The Vibra Vision definitely does help. And it is a real technology that's been around for 450 years in Indonesia. We're just trying to quantify it in a way that everybody can get it. And, so yeah, it's exciting. And that's kind of the long story of it.
Well, thank you both for sharing that and giving me that insight. And I love what you said, Tiffany, that words are so impactful. And you're right, that words are my craft. Words are my thing, right? They're so important, and they have such an impact in everything we do and say, and how we relate to others, and how we relate to ourselves first. And to hear you say that is just so phenomenal, because so many of us that are visually dependent, we're blind in so many ways, right? We're blind in the things that we don't see. We're blind in the things that other people know and see about us in terms of our personalities, our characters, our behaviors, that we don't see as perhaps causing a problem or being an issue. I myself am colorblind, and so what good is it? Well, I don't want to say what good is it to have vision, but I'm a photographer, and it impacts me as a photographer and videographer to be colorblind. I remember so many times that I'm printing out these beautiful, 24 by 30 prints for my clients that are riding motorcycles and cars and action photography and stuff. And my colors are all wrong. And my brother comes in behind me, who's got beautiful color vision and able to see colors. And he says, dude, why is these people's faces pink and red and orange? I'm like, what? They're not. And I would argue with him saying they're not. And he would say, no, they really are. Dude, these colors are way off. I said, they're not. Stop it. Get out of here. And I share it with my client, and my client go, Stevie G, our faces are pink. They're not supposed to be that color. And so it's impacted me, right? And so again, going back to the idea that when we use the term blind, there are so many of us that can see, that do have our sight, that are blind in many other ways. And so let's get rid of that word. I love the idea of unblinded, and I know you guys are part of the Sean Callaghy Unblinded community, which is how we met. And I love the work that they're doing to unblind us all to these scotomas that we've created, to these ideas about ourselves that really don't exist, but we can't see it, right? And I know that you guys have a tremendous vision for what you want to do in the world, for what you are doing in the world, for how you are serving. And it's phenomenal to be friends with you guys and to be connected.
Yeah, well, definitely felt here, and back absolutely. To you and Alethea. So let's just wrap it up real quick. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, Steve, what is the best way? Like, if someone wants to get in touch, send an email, whatever, how can they get in touch with you?
Thank you for that question. And the first thing I will recommend to people watching this show, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 20 years from now, because this will be live and you'll be able to see us 20 years, just you're looking at this in 2040, right? And you're looking back and go, oh, that's what Tiffany and Mike and Stevie G looked like, right? They didn't have tin hats and helmets like we're wearing now. Look at them. That's how they lived. That's how they lived. You know,
No.
in all seriousness, thank you for that question. The first recommendation I will make is that anybody watching this show, if you want to get a hold of me, first get a hold of Michael and Tiffany and say thank you for producing this show and having guests like Steve and all the other wonderful guests that they've had. Because without folks like these, in other words, I don't get to share my message with the world. So they'll know how to reach me. So first, get a hold of Mike and Tiffany and say thank you. And then after you do that, and only after you do that, then look me up on Facebook. Stevie G Success is my screen name on Facebook and also Instagram. And I also have a website where I present my training courses for how to become a better speaker. The course is called Become a Natural Born Speaker, and that you'll find at steviegsuccess.com.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Steve. This has been honestly a blessing to us and everybody who gets to listen to your story and share your wisdom with us. So thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. And you are a phenomenal coach. It was funny earlier today, just getting a chance to talk to you. And I said something about a business thing I'm working on. You said, that's not the way to say that. You're right. So thank you for that. And thanks again for being on our show. And cheers to a long, happy friendship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll celebrate it right now with a sip of water. Yay!
Yay! Air water.
Because you should never toast without actually taking a sip of whatever it is that you have in your hand. So otherwise the toast isn't any good. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Chef knows. The chef knows. Yeah.
I'm not allowed to drink wine till after 5, so.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. No.
Oh my God. All
Yeah.
right, awesome. Well,
Thank you
so much. And I'm going to go ahead and end this amazing broadcast. Those of you who are live get to watch the fun magic of being visually. There we go. End button. There we go.